And okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. They don't even have like an advertisement for this. Usually there's like a slide. But no, right now there's just, uh, yeah. I guess they have the like go to the weekly calendar. Yeah. Hi, everybody. It is Friday today, not Tuesday. And the reason we're here on Magic is because this week I swapped Slay the Spire with Magic because until Wednesday, we're here in Cons of Tarkir. And Cons was always a really, really cool limited format. So I wanted to give this uh, some more time. We might do more of this on Tuesday, is the idea. So, yeah, if you're not familiar, Cons of Tarkir was the like Wedge block. Wedge meaning the three color combinations that were not covered by um, shards of Alara. So instead of, uh, blue, white, green, and allied color ones, we have like black, white, red. So yeah. Triple cons. It says cons. It would never be dragons. Cons was never drafted with dragons. That never happened. Um, it's kind of funny. There is nowhere on this event page that I can tell what the event packs actually are. There's more info, but that opens up a web page. And that web page just sort of generically tells you about like cube phantom events, flashback events. So from the wording, I assume this is triple cons.
There's no way they're putting in Fate Reforged.
If they put in Fate Reforged, if I open a pack and I see Citadel Siege, pick one, pack one, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be happy I opened Citadel Siege, but I'm gonna be mad. Cons of Tarkir was back in the day where Wizards decided to make a very unpopular decision that they reverted, but not quickly enough, in changing how Standard rotated. And Cons was the pivot block around this. Yeah. So Standard, with one exception, rotates yearly. Every single year. It rotates when the September-October set comes out. They changed this once, and everybody lost their mind. Nobody knows when rotation happens anymore because they changed it once.
Cons of Tarkir was the set immediately prior to them, the block immediately prior to them throwing out the 3-set format of a block.
So the way that it pivots is that it itself is a 3-set.
Two sets, basically.
Yeah, with a pivot at Fate Reforged. So you have Cons of Tarkir, Fate Reforged, Dragons of Tarkir, and you never drafted Cons and Dragons at the same time because you would pivot on Fate Reforged.
Yeah, so that means that the 3 formats were triple cons, Fate's 1 pack of Fate Reforged, then double cons, and then it was double dragons, then 1 Fate Reforged, I believe, for the final one.
Yeah, it was wacky. This was hurt.
By the way, the thing that I just said about that last one, big reason why Fate Dragons of Tarkir is an awful draft set.
Yeah, Fate Reforged is also a...
Yeah, it ruins cons straight up, pretty much. It's very bomb heavy. It is expressly a 2-color format compared to cons, which is an explicitly 3-color format. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are very few more 3-color formats than Khans of Tarkir. And it really does completely throw off the like flat out. Here's the thing: is that Fate Reforged as a 2-color format means you pick one thing. Almost always you're rare because it was such a every single rare was more valuable than everything else in the set.
I remember looking at the rares. Oh, this was a long ass time ago, but in Fate Reforged, I think it was something like 90% or like 80 or 90% of the rares were like, don't even bother reading any other card in your pack. Just first pick this and pray.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, the most extreme ones of that being, I think it was like Tempest or Torrent Elemental.
Yeah.
The unkillable Exile Returner.
Or Citadel Siege, which...
Citadel Siege. There was all of the like... Both all of the clan leaders and the Dragon Lords of the time were all ridiculous for draft. It pretty much was like the very first thing you do in... No, I didn't. I'm not building my own Wedge set. I'm building my own fucked up weird shard set that works like a Wedge set. Shut up.
Oh my god. Amelia the Fox, thanks for the sub.
Anyway. I have a lot. Khans of Tarkir is one of my favorite formats of all time.
Yeah.
Like, Triple Khans is an incredibly fun draft set.
There's a reason that I come back to it a lot, and that it also has some of the more interesting, like, I've done a lot of drafts of this format. Heck, we did. We got to do a draft of this format Magfest.
At Magfest, yeah. I opened up almost exclusively red-white uncommons and got my ass kicked.
I forced trying to play Altar of the Brood.
Ah, nice. Altar of the Brood.
Because Altar of the Brood was the running joke rare out of this set.
Yeah, it's completely worthless in draft, pretty much. Like, aggressively completely worthless in draft. It only works to any degree in multiples.
Yeah, and, well, the thing is, like, so Altar of the Brood is a 1-mana artifact that says whenever a card comes into play under your control, mill one from your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
It is the only mill card in the set, and this is a set with Delve.
Yes, so it actually really powers your opponent, because it's hard for players to... Because this is a Wedge set, and again, it is an explicitly 3-color format. You don't... It is rare to play 2, and it's basically impossible to play 1.
You're usually on 2+. Your third is usually like a lighter color, like okay. But I'm playing Mardu, but black is the light color, and it's only there for the tri-colored cards, or maybe like 1 or 2 innately powerful cards, or like I'm playing Azorius, but it's with red as making Jeskai work.
Yes,
but you generally are playing all 3 because there's a high density of powerful 3-color cards,
including actually across the board -1 maybe very draft playable 3-color commons. They're the only 3-color commons in the set, but they are in fact, like, they exist to be, like, playable as a like top end card at common without having to, having opened something larger than that.
Okay. Also, here, now that we're in an event, you can't see what it is until you enter. It's Triple Khans. So
yeah, okay. K2K potentially makes sense.
Which, I mean, you wouldn't name it this unless it was Triple Khans.
Yeah, because K2K is the Khans.
Yeah. It is interesting. Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Last week was this week actually, I guess. Mark Rosewater every year does a like State of Magic article where he goes back over the major releases of the year and talks about their pros and cons, like what was done right, what was done wrong, lessons to learn. And this year, from Innistrad Midnight Hunt to now, is kind of hilarious to read, because it's like if Neon Dynasty didn't exist, This would be
It would have been almost exclusively bad releases.
It would have been like one of the worst years in Magic's history. Like
but
every
Neon Dynasty is one of their most popular sets they've ever released. So it ends up being a wash. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's hilarious because like on that, there's every set tends to have like 3 or 4 positives and 3 or 4 negatives. Like, hey, people really liked the wedding idea for Crimson Vow, and it was a cool like thing to thematically have the set around. But
immediately followed up by unfortunately the wedding theme of it completely destroyed any Innistrad horror flavor.
Right.
So it it had its upside and a much larger downside associated with it.
And then each set is kind of this way, and then you get to Neon Dynasty that has like 7 or 8 things in its positive pile, and its negative pile is like
it's all very it's like my problem is that I care too much. Stuff like that.
Samurai sucked was one they brought up, and they're like, the mechanical identity for Samurai sucked. We moved off Bushido and gave them a worse ability.
That's true. But they did also, even through that, they still had one thing that mentioned as an advantage of the fact that they just combined Samurai and Warrior as an iconic thing before them, made it more playable than it could have been.
Yeah,
so they're fine with batching those two together.
And then the rest was like minor bits, like, oh, we should have done more old callbacks or like returning mechanics. But then we have New Capenna, which is the one that is comparable to Cons here because it's a Wedge set. And the problem was
it's a shard set.
Shard set. It's another 3-color set. Shard Wedge. It's another set similar to Cons, similar to Shards, and it's explicitly supposed to be a 3-color set, and its failure was at all levels. It wasn't. It was a 2. Like you drafted 2-color in that. You played 3-color maybe if you had multiple copies of like ridiculous 3-color cards. Abzan Ascendancy out the gate, huh?
Ooh, Abzan Ascendancy is one of the best Ascendancies. So, the non-token creature thing, that's actually pretty good.
That's a really good effect on there. The secondary line, the front line's also just fine. You play this, you pump your team. It's Anthem-ish.
Yep. Functionally an Anthem in most respects.
Yeah, our other cards of playability in here, Sultai Scavenger is a good early up pick because it's monocolor and lets us pivot. Warden of the Eye is actually quite powerful. Can pick up a lot, like non-target creature, non-land. It's basically like pick up a removal spell. Snowhorn Rider is that common cycle. It's one of the best ones because it's just big.
I would say this is the second best of them.
Now, the drawback of picking Abzan Ascendancy first is that we are pretty heavily committing to a 3-color combination early, which can backfire. There are times where you pick this up and then all of a sudden the table has decided this is not open. Or the cards you see are not made for this. So we have to keep that in mind. Or Chef, Jungle Hollow, even if we want to go that deep of just pick up our fixing now. It sucks because the actual most powerful cards are both red here. Horde Ambusher is pretty cool, and Hordling Outburst is
one of
the most.
This thing is actually really good.
No cards, like if we had nothing, like this would be my pick one, pack one out of here. God, I might just pick up the Jungle Hollow to try to make the fixing work, because Horde Chef is fine, but it's like I feel it's replacement.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, it might be a bad idea. It entirely depends on luck here.
Right.
But I mean, we're talking about Abzan and Jungle.
You're not gonna say the reason I say this is that I think Mardu Horde Chef is like it's a little above replacement tier. I think it's good. It's not the best. Or challenge. Okay, Warriors get +1. This is the Warrior liker. I knock Bond Cannon's a lot more on the line of a creature I want to play.
Yeah. So this Khans of Tarkir is a 3-color format. It is still assembled out of 2-color pairs. But they're 2-color pairs where each of those 2 colors like complement each other. Black white is warriors, if I remember right, which is
Yes.
supposed to complement the rest of. It's supposed to complement both Abzan and Mardu because both of those are relatively aggressive. Well, one is actually very defensive, but it is still a combat focused color combo, and then the other one is an aggressive combat focused color combo.
Hmm.
Both of which have a lot of warriors in them. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea of how this is like built up.
Luckily, we have a soldier here because there's odd creature type
There
things.
are a
Hanging
few
out, but
soldiers, yeah.
Death
That is a known
Frenzy.
problem. Death Frenzy, good stuff. Okay, that's great. That is one of the
I'd also like to note just how
only
like
wraths.
a lot
Blue is
of
pretty strong.
there's decent amount of blue here. The pivot there would be going into Sultai. On that point, Death Frenzy would be still a fine pickup. So I think
Yeah,
I'm okay with
Death
that.
Frenzy is a good Sultai card as well.
I'm just gonna. It's just something I'll have to note that like, um, I'm not huge. Like the thing with Death Frenzy is that it's gonna be really good in some matchups, and it's like sideboard out and a number of others. Specifically against Mardu, it's going to be an incredibly powerful card. They're very token based. They're very wide.
Whereas versus Sultai, it's going to be rather weak because Sultai as a color combo is very butt heavy.
Yeah.
In this set.
Retribution of the Ancients is always worse than you think it is. It never works as well as you want. Hateblade's fine. Dismal Backblock.
Hatblade is, I think, one of only 4 or so cards in the entire white cards in the entire game of Magic that have the word Death Touch on them.
Yep.
2 of the others I think are Odric, and then one is Mardu Hatblade. I think there's one from SNC actually, which is basically the same card.
There we go.
Abzan Guide.
Abzan
Guide is also one of the better one of these. Abomination of Gadul has the advantage of having flying as one of these.
Yes.
But it is also very expensive for a 3/4 flyer.
The idea on Hateblade is that Mardu has raid as its keyword, which is just have you attacked. And Hateblade is a good attacker for that. I'm going to pick up Abzan Guide, even though Wooly Loxodon is here, to try to knock people out of this color combo.
That's fair.
I just wanted, I don't want to leave, reasons for somebody to be 3-color. Okay, immediately looking at, we have some really nice central white. Feeder resist,
if memory serves me right, there's actually a bunch of really good combat tricks and triple cons.
Yeah, feeder resistance is one of my favorites because it's a +1/+1 counter, which has a lot of things again, Einok Bonkin gives first strike to your team, anything on your team that has a 1/1 counter. And then it's also protection, which means, block a kill spell, win a combat, etc. The rest of the things here, are not actually super exciting. Ride down is a good offensive trick. Game.
Shrine of the Tomb of the Spirit Dragon.
This is all nonsense. Highland Game is an elk.
Smite the Monstrous is playable.
Yeah, I'll probably pick that up playable. I'm not interested in elk. This is replacement tier. This is worse than Mardu Hateblade is or Mardu Chef is good. This one is not. Blossoming Sands. Yeah,
that's actually kind of good to see.
And notable that Snowhorn's still around, and it's the only. Tiger Scheming isn't a card you play unless you're the most delved player in the universe. Ponyback bringing around still. I might just pick that up as I'm sorry.
Hordling Outburst is still here? What? That's one of the Jeskai Primo cards.
Do I pick that over Ponyback, or do I pick Ponyback? That's
There's no reason to hate pick in this fantasy draft, especially not effective drafts.
But I'm not picking Tuscalocedon is the thing. That's the.
I suppose. I would pick Weave Fate over that. I think myself, but because I mean, I guess you could both are theoretically playable. It's just it's double red.
Yeah.
Country Warden is acceptable. Oh yeah, Cons was one of the last hurrahs of Regenerate.
Yes. Solar Road Patrol. sure. I don't really care on this one. Don't really care on this one. Don't really care on this one. Okay. Moving along. Okay, that's just one late bit. That pack, like, we saw that pack wasn't a lot of. Holy shit, we're opening
High
rares.
Sentinels of Arashin, huh? Okay.
This is a card that is like one of the highest like bomb nonsense rares you've got because it not only is a 3/4 flyer base, it's generally going to be way more than that, and then it's going to be 1/1 counters on things. It also gets bigger. This is like easy auto pick, and this would be a pivot, like almost if we weren't in white. But white is our main color, so feeling really good. We got Fast Bat.
Fast Bat is classic. Yeah, Fast Bat. I forgot about Fast Bat.
Yeah, Fast Bat.
Flying First Strike Haste Bats.
Yeah, we got Kumar Bond.
Makes Stormcrow like feel like a piece of shit.
Suspension Field is the other like card we would pick
this
here.
one.
It's funny because this is confusing because there's also like Silk Field or whatever. That's like CMC3. Take the whole pack, call it a day. I would take like 3 cards in here immediately, like 4. But like, I'm feeling really good about High Sentinels. That's a good first one. Flooded Train. Ooh.
Abzan Charm as well.
So,
okay.
The thing about Abzan Charm is that it's a combat trick in that it's, 2 1/1 counters in middle of combat. It's also exile a creature if it's good. It's also draw 2 cards if needed.
Yeah, it's pretty wild when the worst form of this is often going to be draw 2 cards.
Yeah. Ice Feather Aven is a really strong morph. We didn't talk about morph rule.
Oh yeah, morph.
Morph
is okay.
So morph in this set has a rule with it where morph is played
everything
down
lower than 5.
Everything
I
lower
think.
than 5.
Basically
cannot one-sided kill. So it morphs are 2/2s. As a rule, every card in this set, in the 100%, cannot like kill a 2/2 without 1-for-1 trading. Like Ruthless Ripper can do it, but it trades. Like in order to be big enough to not die, you have to be 5. Windswept Heath.
Ice Feather Raven has the advantage of it doesn't kill it, but it can actually bounce it to your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
Also, that gives you information because that forces them to reveal it to you, if I remember right.
Yes.
So, Goblin Slide. Goblin Slide
is another like reason for Hordeling Outburst. If we had seen this earlier, it would be a fun direction. At this point, it's too late. But am I just picking up a Windswept Heath here? The other card is like a Hate Blade or like a Alpine
Windswept
Grizzly.
Heath is an on-color fixing card,
Yeah.
so why not?
Yeah, why
it's
not?
on-color fixing rare, although it's a Phantom Draft, so who cares about it being a rare? But it's useful is the thing. Dig Through Time. Okay, this has gone 4 picks without getting taken. What?
That's funny. I mean,
no one to your right is playing fucking blue.
That's
wild.
Weird because we passed like a decent amount of blue. I'm fine on picking up 1 Defiant Strike. The Throttle's also like okay pickable. I'm a big fan. I don't know. Maybe Defiant. We don't have a lot of prowess, so maybe this is less useful than I want. This Throttle maybe more. Our speed.
Yeah. Of the 2 of them, probably Throttle is actually more your speed. But
I love Defiant Strike, but it's because it's with prowess.
Yes.
Throttle strikes me as really expensive for this effect. It is. This is like.
It absolutely is. Removal there was a long stretch of the game of Magic the Gathering. Removal fucking sucked in Limited. All right, it just happened. And Throttle is one of those peak versions of it. If you had a Seeker of the Way, I probably would have said just grab the Defiant Strike with that, even just the one.
Yeah, we didn't have Eddie yet, though. Even in this block, Throttle is outpaced in Dragons. The Throttle in Dragons is black 3 for the exact same card. But in Theros as well, you had Lash of the Whip, which was this card. This was in an era where like removal was made to be like bad.
I remember one of the most playable removal spells in Triple Theros was black 4 for for a sorcery that destroyed target creature and you gained 2 life.
Okay, well, now that I didn't pick up the Defiant Strike, we're now finding the Prowess Friends. Also, like, this
Divine
is
Strike's a common, it's fine.
This is kind of hilarious because we're like mono white.
Keru Lich Lord.
I'm just gonna pick up
Keru Bloodsucker.
This is an interesting way to like win a game by like long, like just your body.
What's
your team is too big.
Warrior numbers actually?
Bad.
Knockdown kit. It's just the Hate Blade and
it's the Hate Blade and
the Kintry Warden. That's it. Okay, never mind.
And it's like 3.
Because I know for a fact that Russia Battle is perfectly playable in the Warriors deck.
Yo.
Become immense. Now we're talking.
So here's the thing you want to have. Every deck in this format should have 1 Delve card.
Yes.
1. Because
you will get the chance to play 1 Delve card in Limited.
Because in all Wedge combos, Delve is legal in at least one of their colors. Because it's in blue, black, green. So like you want to have one way to make your graveyard a resource like this, and this is it. War Behemoth, Archer's Parapet. Archer's Parapet is good.
Archer's Parapet is better than like you would think it is. The Khan is not a slow format, but it's a but it's also not a fast format either, depending on your opponent. Like Archer's Parapet is a decent defender that also drains your opponent's life over time.
Good flyer. Here we can just pick up 1 rush.
I love Canyon Lurkers. Canyon Lurkers manages to get around the whole, the morph rule because it's a 5/2.
Yes. All right, so this is like...
You do actually have a pretty good number of playables here, and you still have another pack left, so...
Yeah, we have 8, we have -11, so we have 18, and then, like, there's a couple in here that are, like, replaceable. If we get better things, like Salt Road Patrol is fine. It's nothing to be super excited about.
One of the interesting things about
yeah
Sand Step Steep. Oh, hold up.
Skull Hunter.
Skull Hunter is actually surprisingly good. Like Skull Hunter is actually a really good piker.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect that when it's a piker that has ETBs tapped, but weirdly enough, that discard's surprisingly powerful in this set.
And being a
like
2
the
power...
classic is weirdly enough, I remember the classic of this set is attacking with your disowned ancestor, your 0/4.
Yep.
And getting your raid trigger off of that, so you could play as Mardu Skull Hunter.
Yep,
and get them to the discard.
Mardu Skull Hunter also has the power of like pikers are more valuable because morph is a mechanic, so
yes,
you can trade up very easily. I'm still thinking I might just pick up this full fix.
Yeah, sure.
I like just being able to make sure that all of these spells are online.
One of the things about cons is that the fixing unit is really good, actually. Like they have
they finally introduced these like gain life lands, but then they have fixing it a lot of other steps. Ooh, another delve thing. That's actually
Acropolis Fiend is the delve liker is the big problem here. It's very expensive, needs the delve to really work, and then you have to keep delving with it.
This might be another Abzan guide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's another instance of how the fixing goes. The Abzan banners. There's also Hooting Mandrills as the other delve card in this pack, and Hooting Mandrills, Hooting and Hollering is really good. I remember this being one of the better, like just default delve cards.
Yeah.
Also, this right here is a really good pack for us in general.
Sultai Scavenger, Ruth. Ruth is extremely good at. For one, is lose to on flip up, which is cool, but like this assassin gets the work done. Necropolis Fiend was supposed to just be Tombstalker, but for a while they took demons out of the set as a creature type, and so they took Tombstalker out of the file, and then they undid the change, but they didn't put it. Yeah. Anyway, we're taking
Unbelievable.
Murderous Cut.
Yeah, Murderous Cut. This is the good removal of the set.
Yeah,
is Murderous Cut.
Murderous Cut was played and constructed because this is real shit.
Yeah.
But they undid that change. You say could have, like they're not going to table. You crazy paw. Like, come on.
If the thing is that
I am sad about not getting Merrick Nightblade or Enoch Bondkin, but this is like, if it was versus Throttle, I'd probably pick up like Merrick, but like it's versus Murderous Cut. But no, yeah. So they put demons back in. There was actually a couple weird creative things in this block. The dragons had, they threw creative under the bus for the dragons thing. But that's why Tombstalker wasn't in the set, which everyone was like, why didn't you reprint the Delve card in the Delve set? And they're like, we forgot. It's like, oh, okay.
Sultai Scavenger is probably too many Delve cards.
That's the third one.
Sagu Archer is one of the worst of the morph cards. One natural. There's good enchantments to target with Naturalize. You already have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mardu Heartpiercer
is also very much a side peer.
Is a lot better in this format because we have morphs, so it shoots and also trades them in combat. I could pick up a third Jeskai student and then try to find some combat tricks to fill out this deck. Like if I need to find a couple more to make these students worthwhile.
Having one by itself is fine, but like without the tricks, then they're kind of weak.
We have 3 right now with this pick. I think yeah, I think it's better than Scavenger because Flying Crane Technique. Okay, Abzan Battle Priest is lifelink on all your 1/1 counters, or we get another crack at Skull Hunter. Warrior, Chief of the Edge is the good one. It's +1, but we aren't, as we kind of noted, warriors aren't really a big thing in this deck. There's still only like 5.
It is still a 2-mana 3/2, which is strong.
That's a reason to still pick it. But yeah, Flying Crane Technique is the win the game Jeskai Way card. Untap all creatures flying double strike. You win the game doing this.
Yeah, it's if you play Flying Crane Technique, the chances of your opponent surviving are basically none.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with Chief. It sucks to not get Battle Priest here, but I think like
you could pick Battle Priest instead.
I'm gonna go with the Chief. Okay.
Skull Hunter's here. Okay,
so
that gives you some
warriors as well.
Yeah, warrior as well. That gives you a lot of chances to remove Jeskai students of your deck is the important thing.
Yeah, these are all 2s, and we can fix that up. And this is another warrior, which does get better with Chief of the Edge. Chief of the Edge also, Abzan Guide is a warrior, so like these get 5 power. That's kind of nifty.
The important thing is that for Chief of the Edge, the power bonus on it is relatively incidental, but it is nice to have, and otherwise it's a 2-mana 3/2.
Despise.
Yep. Part of Unyielding Krumar.
Unyielding Krumar is the card I like. This is the 23rd I've played the most, and it's always the worst.
Yeah. I like his
the flavor of morph. Let me see if I can find a morph that has the like flavor.
I don't think you do, but it's a like spiraling fireball is what morph looks like.
Basically, it's like you're hiding yourself in a camouflage of like everybody has this. I'm actually a big Dazzling Ramparts.
Everyone's doing Psycho Crushers all the time in Khans of Tarkir.
And you can't tell. Okay.
Kintree Invocation. Okay.
And a Disowned Ancestor. Okay, this is a lot better when we have all these Jeskai students. This is a 4/4 if we control a Jeskai student. Prowess.
Yeah, that's actually good. Kintree Invocation is very neat.
Yeah, this is a very cool card. Black Green has this sort of like toughness. Or like there's this like toughness matters in Black Green. You can it got cut a lot, but you can still see it in like Keru Bloodsucker and Keru Dreadmaw and a couple other cards. and Disowned Ancestor, but it's still like pretty hefty. Alter made it back. Dragon Scale Boon is probably the pick.
Dragon Scale Boon is playable, yeah.
Yeah, this one's fine. Alter the Brood is a joke. I don't actually play it. It's just a
Alter
card
the Brood is
it does have new text. It has each opponent mills a card.
It does say, yeah. Each opponent mills a card, yeah, and that's nice. I like that. I like seeing that.
Yeah.
They should reprint it.
They should. just reprint it. Everybody would be really happy to see Alter the Brood again.
Including just still at a rare. Definitely reprint it at a rare and change nothing about the card aside from the fact that it says mill a card.
Put it in comments so I can draft 7 copies.
That's much more reasonable because it would actually be fun then.
We'll pick this banner. I don't know if we'll play it. We'll continue to pick this banner. I don't know how many we'll play. It's nice to be able to get these on-color banner. Okay, we can pick the Scavenger. Hateblade is actually going in the damn deck.
Yeah, Hateblade is perfectly fine to pick up.
Yeah, that's a good
Fire Expert, by the way. Classics of prowess cards. Rotting Mastodon is also an instance of that. There's the toughness matters in black green.
Yeah.
That is the color like identity of black green. It is It is toughness matters in this set. It's a little bit weird.
It got a little, like I say, like muddled in this. Not muddled, but like it feels a little bit more incidental than a main thing. But it is actually their main thing, and like you even keep seeing it because like Butt Fight is from Fates, right?
Yeah, and also Tassiger is from Fates. Gurmag Angler is from Fates. Like, they're
Grim. Something.
All about that kind of stuff.
It's Grim something, right? I don't. Yeah, Grim. This is Butt Fight.
Yeah, each damage is equal to their toughness to each other, which is it's very funny. It's fun. The thing is though, is that unlike the other color combinations, where so you have Sultai is black, blue, green. The blue-green mechanic is fake as hell in cons. It's actually that there's slightly more morphs in blue and green than every other color.
Yes.
And by that, I mean that there's 2 more. 2 more, and that's it. And one of them's that uncommon, and I think one of them is a rare. So, like, it's not really all that more. And then black-green is the toughness matters mechanic, which is also very minor and incidental. Meanwhile, though, Sultai still extremely has an identity in the form of it's the color combo with Delve. So it's much more defined by having a Delve than the other 2 color combos at all. Like, it's like, what it actually is that black-green is Delve plus toughness matters. Blue-green is Delve plus slightly morphing more. That's it. Realistically, blue-green is literally just Delve. Don't worry, it doesn't matter because the Delve cards in blue are ridiculous. Because you have Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise.
I'm not
is
sure.
the Time Walk in this one, or was that in Fates? Fate Reforged.
I think that might be this.
Was Fate Reforged Exploit? I don't remember.
No, we didn't move to Exploit until the third set. So like, over here.
The Time Walk might have been in Fate Reforged then.
Quantity. I think the Time Walk's in this set. I think it's like blue 8. It's just not the one anyone remembers because you see the 12th reprint of Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise here.
Because those are very, very good Delve cards, yeah.
There's a 13th. Did I pass it?
Temporal Trespass.
Temporal, okay.
I believe that's what it was. Temporal Trespass was from Fate Reforged. Okay, I just double checked.
Here it is. Anyway, back to the deck. I'm not certain how I want to be playing.
You're a little bit more aggressive than... Thing is, you have a fair number of things that Death Frenzy kills yourself.
Yeah, like...
You're so white heavy, which is one of the colors
These
that's weak to
all
Death Frenzy.
these
So.
all die to it. Jeskai students don't. All of these live through it. These all die to it. I think it probably...
It kills half of your deck. Well, not quite half. A little bit less than half because the Kirin's...
I'm gonna call it a sideboard
Kirin,
card.
Yeah. It would still be good to include against Mardu if you encounter Mardu, or against Jeskai.
Yeah, we can board it out and like board out some of our more like more weaker creatures to it if we need to. Smite the Monstrous is also something like that where it comes in against like Teamer, like where there's like against green, really. Like when there's somebody who has like the locks on. Russia Battle, I'm not super interested in because we have Abzan Ascendancy, which is like the same-ish card. Except for more permanent. Salt Road Patrol could come in over Dazzling Ramparts, or Dazzling Ramparts could just come out as our 24th.
I would probably prefer Salt Road Patrol over Dazzling Ramparts myself because it blocks and kills morphs, gets larger, and it becomes unkillable on the ground.
The idea on this is that it gives me a little bit of something to do against evasion, and like 7 toughness means like, you know, Kin Tree is dumb, or but like
okay, actually good point, yeah.
How did Miracle work out in paper? Did you dramatically you draw every turn before adding it to your hand? Yes, you had to do that every when you were playing with Miracles. If you added the card to your hand, you could no longer cast the Miracle because it was it was that you drew that. No, that was in your hand. You effectively had to every draw do a delay. You would draw, look at the singular card, and then add it to your hand. And that happened.
Which, of course, also caused people to have to bluff doing that, which is an additional frustration with it.
And you had to do that every draw step to make it look like... Or else you would know when you drew a Miracle, right? So if you were playing with them, it was this additional step you just had to take to be, like, correct, to not be readable.
You know, I actually just realized a weird thing about Miracle. Is Miracle the only card effect that takes place in the middle of changing zones? Because when you Miracle a card, it's... Okay, technically when you Miracle a card, it's actually still on top of your library, right?
No, it's in your hand.
Oh, it is technically in your hand when you reveal it?
The trigger is this was drawn as your first draw. It is a hidden zone trigger that goes off if it was the first draw in the turn,
and but it does require you to reveal that card as part of it. Yeah. In general, Miracle feels like in paper it's also one of the most cheat worthy abilities in the game. Like it should be real easy to fake Miracles.
I have a huge dislike for Miracle. That's why you had to be super on everyone, like eyes on everybody. Like, because, like, you could do that. You could sleight a hand and just say, oh, I drew Bonfire of the Damned. By the way, Bonfire of the Damned was a Miracle.
It was a fucking Miracle card, and is that... Bonfire of the Damned being a Miracle card... The thing about Bonfire of the Damned's famous gif with Kibler and all of that is that is an indictment of the design of Bonfire of the Damned. Because by all means, that game completely won. And it just literally was, if you reveal Bonfire of the Damned, you win anyway because the card is uninteractive. Like
Bonfire. In Constructed, Bonfire was actually a card in the era of for a long time in Constructed. I'm gonna do this because I'm basically done with deck build. I want to take a little bit of a side step on this. There was an era in about cost of decks. You had an era, you had a number of different eras of, what Standard looked like, where, you would have expensive cards, but even, an expensive card in Standard would be like, oh my god, this is the most expensive thing in Standard, it's $20, right? Because, you know, that, when I jumped into the game, that was, Cranial Extraction was at that level. Ravnica duels were, $10 or whatever. You know, they were high, but they weren't infinity dollars. We weren't talking about Oko, standard
or
Oko,
Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Jace the Mind Sculptor. This is pre Well, this is around that era. Jace was obviously not during Oko era, but it's around Jace. Um, in during this wide era we're talking about with Miracle being an Avacyn restored Innistrad, um, you did have a couple cards that were at like $50 price points that were just like it made mythic rarity made allowed for the existence of obscenely priced cards. And this was a very new thing to standard. It was very weird to have that shift. And it was very, like, make no mistake, it was due to mythic rarity. Baneslayer Angel was a $50 card because it was a mythic in a core set. But Bonfire of the Damned was one of those cards. Bonfire of the Damned was like plus $50 for like a big chunk of its existence. It was super annoying to have to get a whole playset of them. Let's talk about the cost of standard around BFZ around this era. Where you had fetches and duels and Jace. Yeah.
Fetches, duels, Jace, a certain Rhino.
No, we didn't open a certain Rhino. I want to play any
No, we
banners.
didn't. If we did, we would be playing it. I can say that for sure.
I think I'm just gonna stick with what this looks like.
Yeah, looks good. Exact four.
White wants more than that.
Yeah, white is your heaviest color.
Green is the lower because it's on every piece of fixing.
It's on every piece of fixing, and on top of that, you are actually heavier on green at high mana cost than you are on low.
Like Abzan guides are just like hidden, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 7 green sources. That's 6.
That'd be 7 green, 7
sources.
black
Weird.
as well, right?
I might want to include one copy of. It's only 6 black because these two.
Well, Sunset Citadel. Yeah, that's right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Heath can't fetch a duel.
Heath can't fetch it. Yeah. You would need a duel or a shock land for Heath to fetch it.
Put in a banner.
Yeah, between Become Immense and Murderous Cut, you'd probably prefer those over Sultai Scavenger.
They're bigger threat events. Yeah. Baby Jace was like 120. Tiny Jace Frid's Prodigy, notable for inventing a format. What was it? Frontier?
Frontier?
Yeah, was it called Frontier? There was a format that was invented by dealers trying to artificially price hike Jace.
I was unaware of this.
Yeah, Frontier. Frontier. When people talk about Frontier, it's like, it was meant to be like standard plus. It's your collection's worth more. There's a lot of real reasons people will give you for why Frontier exists. It was invented by a card shop in order to prop Jace's price up. Which is my favorite story about
It's very funny.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in.
Fun note, by the way, to people about the creation of the wedges. So shards. I believe every time shards have appeared, they are defined the same way and developed the same way. It's a 3-color combination with a central color and its 2 allies. When it comes to wedges, that's a little bit more complicated. With wedges, it is the central color and its 2 enemies, which causes weird things in the the way that the design is put in on the card. And when you read the wedges as they are, it's the leftmost color that's the central color in them. So, with Abzan here is the white shard, white wedge of them. Mardu is the red wedge because that's red. When I say leftmost, I don't believe it's always depicted as the leftmost one on it, but if you were to do it in the Wooburg cycle, it would be the leftmost one.
This one's awkward, but I see High Sentinels, so I can't mulligan. And I also have all my colors, so I can't mulligan. I have all my colors
Sounds good to
twice
me.
over, so... Like, you're not gonna catch me mulliganing a hand that looks like that. I wish we had more stuff, because, like... oh boy.
Valley Dasher, huh?
I
All
wish
right,
we had
that's
more going
concerning.
on, because, like... The fact that we don't have plays for a while is concerning in a deck that is all about early plays. Also concerning if our opponent is just going to beat me down with 2/2s. We don't actually...
Valley Dasher. I believe this was also 2 sets before
Oh
they finally
boy.
printed the Red Bear.
We had, like, types of red bears, and they still had drawbacks in this set, I think.
Yeah, but I mean like the Red Bear, you know, just the
Yeah.
2-mana 2/2, no downside.
We're gonna die. I actually don't...
You're
I'm actually
pretty
quite...
close to death already.
Here's the
Yeah.
problem. I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen is I'm gonna play High Sentinels of Arashin, and then immediately get killed. But I don't think I can do anything differently.
You could just concede and not show them that you have it.
No, I'm not that dead.
Mm-hmm.
I can go Jeskai Student, leave up Abzan Charm. The reason I'm scared of playing High Sentinels is if they just go removal on it, we're toasted.
There's a lot of toughness based removal in cons, and that does actually put it in the danger range of that because it's a 3/4. So you could leave up Abzan Charm?
Yeah. Abzan Charm is just going to be like a bunch of +1/+1s on the Jeskai Student.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
It's the correct move for sure.
Well, I don't like that because they didn't jump this.
Oh, fair enough.
This means they have a trick. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make the block that looks correct for me. We'll take 5, and then we'll die to Trumpet Blast.
Heat of Resistance, pro color, you can't even defeat it now.
No, I can't.
It doesn't... Yeah, that's rough.
It doesn't have enough power for me to kill it. We're obviously boarding into our Death Frenzy here, because that would have been killer to have. I can save my Jeskai Student by just putting a bunch of 1/1s on it. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, pro white. So we go to 6. They play a land, 1 card left in hand. Well, biggest plays we got. We can try to stuff their aggro. This could do it if they have nothing left as far as breakers. Land and 1 card left in hand. Final card in hand. Herald of Anafenza.
Herald of Anafenza is actually pretty good at slowly getting around because this is one of the better Outlast cards because it gives you what 1/1 every time you do it.
Yeah. Plus side, we kill Valley Dasher on the spot. Ooh, okay. They are just running in to get damage. Okay, so we're gonna.
That also makes sense.
So we go.
They also didn't jump the student again.
No point. This flies.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
So we're gonna leave Valley Dasher because we can kill Valley Dasher next turn.
Taking 3. There is no lightning strike.
There's arrows. There's arrows. We can die to arrows.
That's Forked Bolt. That's Forked Bolt. That's 2.
Arrow Storm. Red 3.
Oh damn it! Right. Okay.
All right.
If you attack with the birds,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, is birds attack him.
could you kill them in 2 turns? Because you are on the face right now. If you're able to kill them in 2 turns, then you actually would win because you can block the thing that's on their things on their board right now. You go down to 1. You have 6.
This untaps
You have
target.
8 damage in your hand.
This is an untapped target creature.
Okay, so you can use that as a combat trick to attack this turn with the birds, and then bring it back.
Well, I'm doing math here, so if I attack for 6 with birds, and then attack with...
You will have 6 plus 6 next turn for 12. Can you do it if you attack with both of them? You can. The numbers work out to make it so you can because you're only 2 damage short. You have to attack with both of them and then untap one of them with Dragon Scale Boon. You can block down to 1 life on you if they don't have anything else. And then you could attack next turn with Become Immense to kill your opponent because you're doing 12 damage after they've taken
the question is
9 this turn.
Can I do that without attacking with both? I'm just doing the math.
If you attack with both and they block, then you're still in a reasonably good position.
So if I go, like, I'm just thinking, if I go High Sentinels attack for 6, what's the wording on this? Other creature. So it would hit them down to 14. Then we would hit them for 14, 8, 2, pump ability to 1.
I think regardless of anything else, you can actually... No, you can't crack the Abzan banner. Never mind. You need 1 more land for that.
Yeah.
Because you have to tap the banner to also
I think
the,
I do need
to
be a little aggressive here to win.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is I do think that you have to do this. You have to Dragon Scale Boon mid-combat. This depends on if they draw anything.
So the idea here is I don't want, like, they have a lot of live draws that I don't want to give them. This gives them 1 draw step.
Yes.
And so if they draw live on me, I die. That's fine. If they don't draw live on me,
they outlasted. That's actually a pretty good sign.
Okay. They have to attack with Valley Dasher. They'll attack with the Warrior token as well.
Okay.
Because
if they attacked with all 3, that actually would have been more concerning to me. I think they don't have it.
Sentinels of
Arashin.
Thank you for getting the job done.
Whew.
That
was spooky. That game was spooky.
I didn't put the +1/+1 counters on Jeskai Student because Jeskai Student, Sentinels of Arashin only cares if there is a 1/1 counter, not how many.
Not how many counters on it. Yeah.
And there already is 1 on there from the charm. Okay.
Yeah.
Death Frenzy. We're not Feed the Clan. We're not that.
You're not that hard up for life. Feed the Clan is a comical amount of life on 2 mana if you have Ferocious.
This is still sideboarded and constructed.
Yeah, it's just so much. It is so much life. If there is a
like, I
that
will
amount
always
of life is able to throw out off a red deck entirely.
I know the Jeskai way. I will always know the like, even when I do not know the Jeskai way, I will still be.
Yes.
What do I want to cut
White
here?
is a Jeskai color.
It is.
Black and green aren't, but white is.
Come immense, the Jeskai way.
Feed the Clan is maybe one of the only pure life gain cards in the entire game that's worth playing in any circumstance.
Like, well, it's sideboarded for the reason of like you make the red deck kill you another halftime over, you know.
Yeah.
If you have that, there's very,
It
very,
is
very
just
few cards
too efficient for its ability, for its cost and how much it gives you. Because like you have other ones like
What am I cutting?
Throttle. Because I mean, it's if they have all just like little guys, who cares about Throttle? Right?
Yeah,
Like that's way
everything.
too expensive.
I'd rather have Death Frenzy than that. And like the thing is, like Mardu Hateblade is trades up really well. I knocked Bonkin as first strike my team.
Your creatures are all too good to remove in this matchup, I think. Like even the 3 Jeskai students are actually really good here.
Yeah, they block well.
And they are apparently leaning in on the white tokens part
Feed
of
the
Abzan
Clan, the
here.
Storm one. The other one I can think of that was played in one lander, huh? That was played in limited was Not of the Bone. This is keepable.
Yep.
This is actually very keepable. I'm just gonna put,
not a problem at all. Swamp.
We don't have any double black, right? I don't think we have double black.
No,
or double
because
green.
you didn't pick up the demon. So I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Yeah.
All right, they're on a full grip.
They didn't play a 1-drop, but they didn't play a 1-drop last game either, because it's not super likely they'll have Swift Spear.
That's an uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
Valley Dasher.
You can't not, buddy. Sorry, that's the thing about that card. Ooh, Bloodsucker.
Okay.
You want to draw 2 cards and kill that in combat?
I'm sadly not blocking right here. This is...
Yeah.
I can't risk a feat of resistance, even though that's an auto attack, and they're just going to horde Jeff. Yeah.
I was actually listening to a Drive to Work, which is Mara's podcast about like discussing things, and he's got like 830 episodes of it now. That was about the mechanics of Cons of Tarkir, actually. And the head designer of the set actually liked Raid the most out of all of them. Just in general, because the person that I guess the idea is like just the person who was in charge of making raid cards basically was just so prolific at doing them they had to cut like a bunch from the set. So apparently it's something that just had a lot of design space working with and available for, and it just was easy to make. That's the lifelinker, right?
Yeah, that life links.
You gonna swing in and play your Skull Hunter? Skull Hunter can't block though in the turn you play it.
We take like 6 from that. That's really annoying.
You take 6, you do 4. They can't kill your Jeskai student by double blocking, but they would probably just chump it, I guess.
I think they take the whole hit here. They don't care about life.
Fair enough.
They're at full.
On the other hand, like getting the Skull Hunter to remove a card from their hand puts them at parity to your mulligan. So
yeah, that's my idea here is they might have a land to discard to this, but yeah, okay.
They do, which is fine because it means that they could have more.
They do have Swift Spear.
Oh, they did get Swift Spear. Okay.
And a Heart Piercer bow. Okay, that's actually a bit of a pain. So we're taking
9.
Yeah, hefty damage here. We lose our blocker. Alabaster Kieran pass? No attacks. We're too low for that. So we can kill Valley Dasher easy. Leaping Master is their final card. Okay, they're on top decks. Yep, they're going to outlast that body. Then they're going to move the... What?
So they can jump it over and ping, I guess.
That doesn't make any
Interesting.
sense.
All right, well, that's dead, thankfully. At this point, they can't do anything about it. You might be able to stabilize in this board state because that Kieran is a flyer, and that's nice. Dragon Scale Boon is still a good... Are you even able to activate that?
If I need to.
Okay.
Right now, I think we want to leave up Dragon Scale Boon to kill the Leaping Master when they try to do that move.
If you do crack the Heath, can you play this Bloodsucker as well, or is that 6?
This is 3 and 4 or 4
Okay,
and 3.
yeah. 6, yeah.
Yeah.
So you need one more land before that's viable.
Okay, let's get in.
The funny thing is that
So they have one more turn where they need to pump the Abzan Battle Priest so it gets over Jeskai Student. Or...
oh, they're doing that to make it so that if you tried to block the Battle Priest, it would trade.
Yeah. All right, so we go... We do this.
And you probably Dragon Scale Boon the Kieran, actually, because because the Proud Trigger will cause
if they drew a Trumpet Blast, we're dead because this is 3+4. We can't, and there's no block combination that can...
There's nothing that you can do about that, so who cares, right? And they got it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, you do love to see it. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. There's no out there. The line that we could have done would have been like if I would have played Keru Bloodsucker as another body, but I wanted to be able to kill this and then get the boon on here. So that sucks. I specifically thought about this and didn't play around Trumpet Blast because I figured we're on one top deck. Oh well. Even the problem is playing around Trumpet Blast. Even if I had played around Trumpet Blast, we lose our board.
Yeah, and then you just lose the turn after.
Then we probably just lose the next turn. So that's actually not like very good. Okay.
I don't know if there's any changes. You just maybe...
I think maybe Salt Road as a better creature.
Over what is my question though? Like Skull Hunter?
Yeah, Skull Hunter's the only one I don't like. It's either that or...
The only issue with Skull Hunter is the inability to block with it, because otherwise its discard is actually quite valuable.
Yeah, the problem is
aggressive deck.
Problem is I'm not attacking very often, and when I am, it's actually the attack I made cost me 8 life, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like that was what killed me, was that attack overall. Oh boy, Nick Demeron, thank you very much for gifting out 20 subs. Congrats to Crimson Dragoon, Power Flapjack, Dectalon, Kurivo, Wild Dantis, S. Frosty Band, Fruit Salad Kung Fu, King Crimson 17, born in the year 1917, Saraseth, Kratok, Kavanaugh, Garrix 22, born in the year 1922, Joe Q Public, A Friend, Indeed, Jolly Flying Man, Dr. Science, Emily Astor, Air Kickman, Giant Penguin 426, not born in the year 19426, and Blazing Blade, and Shabadoo. All right, let's.
It has a 1
I'm willing to keep this
and a morph.
on the full.
It's full fixing. It has a 1 and a morph. And if you actually manage to flip that morph up, that's going to be a morph that stuffs them.
A 4/4 lifelinker stuffs the hell out of our opponent.
Yeah.
God damn. Well, they can't attack with that, so.
And that has outlast for 2 and a white, so that is their turn 3.
If they want to keep doing that, they won't.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
That's not what I'm wanting to draw right now, since we have perfect mana at the mo.
Okay. This actually the slower their start, the better. Oh boy, yes. That's a great draw. Feels bad to have to play it on a 1 drop, but that's a really good 1 drop. So
Yeah. Okay. They are just activating Herald.
I have a feeling that they are also off red entirely. The thing is that your Abzan guide completely beats this Herald almost.
Yeah.
Specifically because with backup of Murderous Cut, even if they keep on like making warrior tokens, that's not gonna outbeat your 4 lifelinker.
And I also get to actually be aggressive here. We can start moving.
Hateblade is a Death Toucher, so.
And this is a 2/2, so. They're off red. They're off red.
Abzan Battle Priest, so they can have that. That makes sense.
That's annoying.
They still can't attack you at all, though. That's nice. And then this turn, Cut is active. You can also flip up if you wanted to, try to catch them in combat with it. You could actually do both, leaving it up.
The problem is they have pretty good blocks on
the morph side.
Like, I'm trying to think what we would do.
I guess what they probably would do is, all right, the thing that comes to mind immediately for me is that if you attacked in with the morph, they would probably block with the warrior token and the battle priest. That would let you cut the battle priest, but wouldn't actually solve the problem of the herald. And the herald is the scaling threat that's actually like is the larger scaling threat. Battle priest will be a concern pretty soon as well, but
Yeah, this is a bit of a pain.
I'm actually thinking more about it. I think the battle priest is actually the worst of the two for you. I guess the worst case scenario is that they triple blocked, which would actually just be a bad thing because you wouldn't be able to deal with 2 chunks of it. You'd end up trading your guide for that. I guess if you did trade your guide, you would also be able to then just cut the thing that was left.
I'm just gonna pass and see what their play is and then cut based on that.
Fair enough.
Okay, they found red.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I think they might actually just outlast both. It's probably what I would do here, just because it's a it's efficient use of mana, you know, without actually spending cards. Still builds a board.
Then I'm gonna stop that right now.
Ooh, Mantis. Unreasonable. The lifelink on Inok Guide is going to be really good. Abzan Guide.
Okay. They have their own life linker, but we can death touch it if they get it in combat.
Yeah.
I don't like that our opponent's on 5 cards because they've done nothing.
That's kind of like the advantage of Outlast, even though it's a slow, dirtily mechanic. It it's one that doesn't spend cards, so
Yeah, and like we've been drawing like ass.
mm-hmm.
Absolute garbage. Okay.
Okay.
It's a 4/4.
That could make a 4/4. You don't have a good attack.
Yeah, they can block too efficiently here. So we do have,
Bloodsucker is nice as anti-removal tech.
yeah, and like Spirit Warrior token can start attacking at some point.
Yeah. You actually do have a lot of good draws, is the thing that's coming to mind.
I would love to draw like Ascendancy, something like that. I don't like them having a 5. Arrows? Damn it.
Aerostorm. There it is. Yeah. All right. Got you gain 2 and eat your guy. Have a 3/3. Oh my god. Come on.
Fuck.
This is unreasonable.
The worst part here is that like
This is a 1-for-1.
like I want them to be afraid of a trick, but they know our hand is just hot fucking garbage, so it doesn't matter. I need to do this to get cards off their side of the table. Because as you might notice, you know, as you remember, they're deck with Trumpet Blast. So they're just gonna fly in.
Portaling out first.
Yeah, they drew their second mountain for that. Well,
Actually, not bad, but I mean the problem is that they have that 6/5 lifelinker. You really want your Abzan charm, I think.
we're close.
Abzan charm. You've got the Smite the Monstrous as well.
Smite's in our sideboard. We didn't bring it in against the little creatures.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd love to sweep away this board with a Death Frenzy and gain 5.
Yeah.
Leave us with Archer's Parapet. Problem is, I want to trade Abzan Battle Priest for Hateblade.
Yeah, so they can't attack with that. Well, now they can attack with that. The gaining the counter happens regardless on the sack, right?
Yeah.
Problem is that they're gonna start swinging with the Battle Priest.
Their other card named is a Trumpet Blast, so
also fair.
this is I guarantee you this because of the 1/1/1. The reasoning there is that they can any one that we block here dies. Okay, I know how to win. I have the line.
You know how you win?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
All out me.
They're playing conservative.
Okay.
No,
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay.
So does it have to do with sacrificing your own Kara Bloodsucker to itself to deal 2 damage?
Another creature.
Ah.
We have a draw we need.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the blocks.
They gotta have a follow-up creature or the trumpet blast, right? They got.
Or they're not gonna trumpet blast because we specifically are doing the block this way. So this is me preventing the damage from the.
Yeah, so it doesn't give lifelink.
And
this is a way to prevent light from happening.
They're gonna play a blocker. Yep.
What a blocker. Wow.
That's a blocker. I now believe there's no draw in the deck that.
Oh, hold on now.
Never mind.
That gets everything out of the way, and you get to hit your opponent for 5?
3, because it'll knock down.
Oh, right, yeah.
So they will still be able to start knocking us with Abzan Battle Priest, but now they're on 1
but
card.
But it gives you a lot of time.
This is a. Okay, this is a card we needed to draw, huh?
All right, so they're gonna go back up to 9. Well, no, they could be at 11 after this. They're probably just gonna swing all out here. We're gonna be taking 6+. So we're gonna be taking 9, going down to 10. That did give us 2 more turns.
It is more effective to not attack right now.
So you'd be able to
because this is a 5/5, it could block the 6/5.
Fair. Okay.
If I attack, they'll take 3 and then gain 6, and like that, my attack was worthless.
And then also on the trade, they will gain 6, then lose 2, so they'll only gain 4.
Yeah. All right. 1 card in hand, and I'm just assuming it's Trumpet Blast, but they now no longer have the team for it, so we've knocked that down a peg. Okay, sure.
The spear? Okay. What if it's actually the +2/+1 warriors gain lifelink one?
That card's a sorcery.
Fair enough. Okay.
And Warflare isn't in this set.
So your trade can happen.
The problem is, like, the trade happens, and how do we, like, recover?
With your Sentinels as a 3/4 flyer?
Yeah, I think I just have to take the trade. Burn it now. Alright, so here's our drain.
Or you could draw another land.
That's the most likely outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on a 5-turn clock. 2 cards in hand. Good. That's just a good ground body. We hold that off. Now the clock is just in the air. I'm very happy that we didn't lose on the spot. That Death Frenzy was absolutely killer.
Your opponent's deck is quite good.
This is a scout. And now they have a wide enough board that, like, in a turn or 2 they can just trumpet blast us out. Or they again just the flyer over the course of. Interesting that they'd play that.
Yeah, like you'd want that as a. Why wouldn't you play that pre-combat.
Well,
That's a 2-1 with Death Touch. No, it's not
you're right.
anything.
It's definitely something.
Mm-hmm.
This is the all-out trumpet. No, this is just again. They don't need to. All they have to do is hit me with the flyer. There's no reason to like risk the board. They've already we've already shown that our deck is capable of. That's 11. Okay. Like our deck is capable of killing them from nowhere. So now they're playing very, cautiously. They don't have to anymore, though. They can kill us. Here, yeah, this is the the turn where we die.
You actually did get a pretty. This game went down a lot longer than it probably should have, which is good.
And here's the trumpet blast I've known they've had in hand for the last 12 turns.
Yes. Trumpet blast, by the way. Really good, actually. That this thing is a game ender. It's a common 2-0 instant overrun, with no trample, but that's fine.
My memory may have put Horde Chef at a little. This is actually a lot stronger than my immediate memory tells me. I had it.
The thing is that Horde Chef is specifically very strong in Mardu, and weaker without the red.
Well, it's also it's even strong in black-white because it's 2 warriors.
Yeah, but I maybe we should have taken some, but regardless, I think the Horde Chief's power strongly depends on your color combo.
Yeah, we saw 2. I don't feel like it was too bad to not take them. I just wanted to note that they were doing a lot more for our opponent. And so that was an opponent who was on a much narrower band. They were on a 2-color deck. But, you can see how, this is a format where we kind of mentioned aggro isn't, super there to...
It's good, but it's also not, overwhelming. It's not something you can, just always wins games or nothing like that. Well, it's
also not, honestly, it's not something that's super common. Generally, games in this format go a lot longer
This is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. Games go a lot longer than you'd expect. And therefore... you're not, but that means that Boros aggro has that opening of oh, well, what if I can just kill you with 2 hasty bodies? I will keep this because it's all 3 colors and some curve.
I would call Khans of Tarkir a only very slightly slower than average format, the slightest. It's not. It's not even really.
This is a format with Disowned Ancestor, Archer's Parapet. There aren't aggro creatures on 2 or 3. You're playing gray ogres. This isn't the world of aggression, Compared to
also
what a modern set looks like, and a modern set runs this over as far as what aggro looks like because you're playing 3 power 2-drops and creatures.
You're playing a few 3 power 2-drops in this one as well.
They're multicolored bombs, The ones that exist are super rare. This is just not a.
They're uncommons.
Fair.
Because I'm also including Seeker of the Way in this because prowess is really easy to activate and things like that.
Certainly,
I think that it happens. I don't think that I know that Khans can go very long, but I guess what I really mean is that the speed of it is actually very highly variable depending on matchup.
Even that we played it against the Boros opponent where we took all 3 games to 35 minutes. Because there are so many defensive options. You look at White's creature base, Outlast is made for long games. And even the bodies Outlast is on tends to be very defensive. Or understated. I don't know. I haven't died on turn 4 in cons, is I guess what I'm saying.
I don't think I've ever died on turn 4 either, but I've definitely died on turn 5, like pretty reliably against specific decks.
Yeah, that's why I say it's slower. Boy, all right. So our opponent's like Abzan, but like, hopefully their hand is 4 lands. Anarch Bondkind is such a strong body. And it also, handing off first strike to your team is really good. All right, we are outlasting more. We're not. I thought we'd be just holding up or going to combat, but I guess I'm not. I'm not presenting much of a threat, right? Like,
you've got a 1/1 defensive Death Toucher and a 1/3 with prowess,
and neither of those work against this body.
Yeah. This is unreasonable. It's like 3 out of the 4 games so far have been.
Sometimes.
Actually, no, sorry. It has actually been all 4 games where you've flooded. You just happen to
I just happen to win one off
your...
of like a double, like a rare plus like a bunch of combat tricks. Yeah,
mainly.
So hopefully our opponent's on the same nonsense. They passed on 4, right? So they might just be in the same world as us, where their hand is like 4 lands. I seem to remember this happening in cons. Or I have a couple clips I know of Treasure Cruise drawing me 3 lands. Is that just the world this is? We're still winning on...
Oh, yeah. Treasure Cruise draws you 3 planes. Everyone knows that. That's what it does.
Okay.
Saddle Brute.
Love you.
Saddle Brute's a 4-mana 4/5.
It's good.
Back during cons, 4-mana 4/5 was actually really good.
Okay. We have the Death Toucher to hold it off if we want. I also can use the Death Toucher to attack and get the Mardu Skull Hunter.
That would hit one of their lands at this point, I think.
They missed a land drop.
Oh. Well, okay, fair enough. Never mind, their hand is gas. Then yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, I kind of need to do something. Uh-huh. Hi, Skull Hunter. You're one of my favorite commons. Love this card.
Yep.
Teaches you to play 1-drops in limited. Which is actually a good thing. Like,
yes.
You should be playing once. So yeah, they passed on a land drop there because they were on 4 last turn and didn't Saddle Brute.
Cons is also a format with good 1-drops flat, I think, across the board. Like every color has at least, except for blue, I think has a 1-drop that's worth playing.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got like...
Because Dishonored Ancestor in black as a 0/4 for 1 that becomes a 1/5 if you spend your turn doing that, and that's actually worth doing a lot of time. There's the Hate Blade is a perfectly fine 1-drop in white because it gives access to something it usually doesn't get in white by having the black activation.
Yep.
Obviously, Monastery Swift Spear is one of the best red 1-drops in the game.
All time.
Like of all time, flat out, yeah.
Yeah, double Saddle Brew, let's go!
Actually kind of spooky. That's rough.
Luckily, like, Saddle Brute is very big body, but, like, it's not...
There's no evasion on it or anything like that, and it does have a downside if you don't get the raid off. Oh my god.
Alright. So
I guess you could still deal with.
we can still deal with
here.
everything. Yeah, it is technically possible for me to go to combat and wipe their board.
Yeah.
Tap out pre-combat, please. Shit.
They're not going to do. That's another thing that cons did, is that it taught a lot of people to not do that because of raid. People don't play their stuff first main in cons. It's all second main.
All right, here we go. We're gonna get blown the fuck out, but I have to try because we have nothing left.
All right, so it's probably
Feed.
Feet of Defiance or whatever it's called, Feet of Protection.
Yeah. Resistance.
Feet of Resistance. Okay. I mean, you gotta get blown out by this, right? You have to. Okay, they're doing something in response, or okay, they might be specifically holding off to see everything you do.
Here we go. Blow me out. If I get to kill all three of their bodies here.
Oh, what?
Yeah!
Oh, nice.
Five cards in hand, they're all junk. Holy shit, they are.
Well, and the worst part about Throttle, of course, is that it actually doesn't kill the beckoning, bellowing.
Yeah,
I suddenly forgot its name.
Saddle Brute.
Saddle-brute.
Is their hand just a bunch of fives?
If their hands is a bunch of fives, like the moment they draw that land, you're dead. But hey, maybe you just don't get. Maybe they have fives with less than 4 toughness. Yeah.
Maybe they play Enoch Guide or whatever, and we go.
Krumar. All right. They must have just drawn that, right?
Yeah, because they didn't play it last turn.
Yeah.
I should sorcery this Throttle for extra damage.
Yes. That actually does matter.
In this matchup, I need that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not fucking gonna stop drawing lands, so.
This is like I want to say this is like barring your opponent drawing another 5-drop. The last turn where drawing a land is theoretically acceptable. You need to start drawing gas.
I just pass on 6 cards in hand. Like, well, I got nothing. Go.
If that's the case, they made a mistake in their deck building. My God. I mean, at least it thins your deck a little.
Pressure.
This is actually kind of a hard choice between them. Because the Skull Hunter is more damage immediately, but yeah, the student could absolutely threaten way more damage if in the right circumstance.
We're playing a 17 land deck. This is a normal deck.
It's just been a streak of bad luck. It happens.
We've drawn 5 spells.
Yep.
And 11 lands. And we're still not out of this. If they ever draw their 5th land, we're probably dead as shit because there's going to Haymaker for 12 years, right?
There it is.
Here it is.
There it is.
Haymaker me. That's not a Haymaker.
Rotting Mastodon is not a Haymaker, but it is a 2/8, so... Oh, man, Sentinels would just win the game here, basically. You'd be able to play Sentinels, immediately activate Sentinels, because I'm pretty sure it's not a tap for that ability.
Multiple times a turn.
And have and have a 4/5 in hand. Well, 4 or 5 on the board. Unreasonable. Oh man, if they Kintry Invocation, then they deserve to win. It's fine. keeping it in hand the entire time so that they could just play it as an 8/8 instead of playing it earlier as a 5/5 or something.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a readability error with that last at any point, because you do have to be able to tap it, but it doesn't mention that without the reminder text.
Okay.
I never had that issue, but I've imagined that someone
We've
may
never
have.
drawn our first pick. That's not something we've drawn yet. No. They passed last turn. Okay.
It's actually not that big of a deal because these weren't winning the game on their front anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'd actually be a really good draw, Kieran.
Yeah.
A 2/3 blocks a 2/8, no problem.
You're Eternal 8 Dragon Scale Moon.
Opponent, please gaze upon the fact that we've not missed a land drop in 13 turns.
They passed! They passed!
Why would they pass?
Orph go.
Why would they not swing
Ancestor
in?
go. Archer's Parapet go. Please help.
Oh, man, are you gonna have to Dragon Scale Boon your Archer's Parapet to kill this morph in combat?
Maybe. I'm definitely gonna block it.
The fact that they didn't attack with that Mastodon is baffling. Especially they had 2 follow-up plays. What are you doing?
Our opponent still has 5 cards in hand, has been missing land drops.
You know, the old adage of flood beats screw holds true a lot, but when the screw is on 4 lands and they can draw their 5th, that's all they needed to get on board.
Then they're gonna life king.
Sometimes it's not always true.
This is an Abzan guide.
Yep, your Abzan guy makes sense. Bloodsucker becomes a... Okay. Bloodsucker can eat the parapets, become a 3/3, you gain 2, drain 2.
Yeah.
Can you also Dragon Scale Boon?
Yeah,
Because once that's
we have 1 million mana. I can do this, I can activate this, and then Dragon Scale Boon, because I have 9 untapped mana.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty good, because it means you'll have a 5/5. You'll be able to kill the Abzan guide.
Yes.
You're technically still not dead yet. Your opponent has a full grip. Is the activation on Kara Bloodsucker 3?
Yeah.
So you'd also be able to activate Archer's Parapet on the same turn.
Yes, that's why I was very happy about this dumb... Alright, so...
How many 6-drops are in this set? I believe there are... I think it's like 7 or 8. There's 5 at common. Okay, well, actually, talking about mana value and cons is actually kind of hard because of
Morphs, because this is a
Uh,
6th as well. Like, Hooting Mandrills.
yeah.
I can't believe the O4 is attacking now. What's going on there?
At instant, these colors. Oh, they might have become immense, actually.
Shrug.
Yeah, if that's the case, then you would have been dead regardless of what happened here, basically. Functionally, there's actually a lot of things with really high mana value in cons, but realistically, you don't play them at that high.
All right, so we get the drain for 2. Bloodsucker is a very good card.
Yeah, it's very versatile. Every part of its text will come up at some point in a game, I feel like. The drain matters, the fact that it gets bigger matters, it's a sack outlet. It's a reasonably expensive sack outlet, but it's a sack outlet regardless. It's a sack outlet in a format that doesn't have many sack outlets.
6 cards in hand. Do you have a combat trick? There it is, feet. Okay, we don't die, but we lose. I can't afford to play around cards against an opponent with 6 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Or like when I'm this like dead here. How do you have a bunch of 1s? How do you have a bunch of 1s and 2s? Where do these come from?
Have they been? Oh my god. Come on.
You've been stockpiling all these? You can't have been stockpiling all these. They've been
Have you actually
all
just
these.
been the most
Oh my god,
like
stockpiling a bunch of
cautious about Wrath player of all time?
Yeah, they're very
Deliberately slow rolling the game.
Oh my god, will you please kill me?
I'm circling the word win on a whiteboard right now and then gesturing at Zungari.
They're like this. They're so afraid of Dune Blast. Like, anyway,
Doom Blast is rad, but it's not. It costs 7. It's. I mean, I guess it's not hard for you to play a 7 in that.
Yeah,
match.
I was just saying that match I could do twice.
I really, really don't want it to be that the only that like you almost beat your opponent there because they were incredibly cautious all the time, and then still lost because you drew like 14 lands.
I think that's what it was.
I don't like that, so I'm going to assume it wasn't.
The problem was they went from 5 cards in hand to 3, playing a card every turn. Like,
They had to have had some of those in hand already. Yeah.
oh
Like,
fucking
no
hell, we're gonna.
It's gonna happen again.
I know.
It shouldn't. Like looking at this hand, it shouldn't. You have all colors.
It doesn't matter.
You just can't afford to mull down to 6 when all you're gonna draw is like a billion lands anyway.
Well, I can't afford to get rid of a full colors hand in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to get rid of a hand that actually just has everything.
All right. Hate Blade's actually kind of nice to see though.
Yeah.
Because this is also one of the 1-drops that actually stuffs the ancestor attack. So
Yeah.
like free.
Just free. Oof, they are.
That is actually
That's very bad.
Yep, that's good. It's good for them, I mean.
Yeah.
Not good for us.
They're in like Super Outlast. We don't have good answers to that. So Hateblade is only effective for another turn or 2 here.
Mm-hmm.
Feats actually makes it a little more.
Feet actually defeats first strike, so that's good
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
So we drop shields for a turn because we don't need shields right now. They don't have first strike. And I'm gonna pass. I'm not gonna attack here. Next turn I can Bloodsucker, leave up feet.
Oh. Oh
Oh
my. Oh, are they having the
my.
opposite problem? Oh, hold on.
All right, we can beat this.
You can beat someone being stuck on 2 for sure, even if they do have, because they've got 2 outlasts, and outlast is such a mana hungry mechanic. You can't be doing it too often like this.
Mm-hmm. The reasoning for the play in this direction is specifically because I need to be able to leave up feet of resistance here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they drew third land. Yep. I want an attack with Anak Bonkin. I really want an attack with Anak Bonkin. I want to kill it in combat really badly.
I wouldn't attack with Anak Bonkin. Anak Bonkin has the unfortunate quality of now it's also a lord and therefore hard to attack with it.
Yep.
All of those the Outlast Lord cards, the ones that just grant a keyword based on having a counter on them, have that problem when you only have one of them. Where you're kind of afraid to attack with them because if you lose them, then yeah, you lose the upsides.
Their opponent is the most cautious person in the world. They will not attack. That's true.
Yeah. Honestly, one of the things that's entirely possible here is that your opponent actually is just going to lose to time.
If we can win game 2, it's like it's something that could definitely happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're taking 2 here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how to read you now. Ooh. Now we have a different win con. We'll see. Sure.
One mana, 2/6 for a strike. Pretty all right. I think that's playable.
Okay.
I guess
Leave the
that's
banner in
not
place.
that
That's
bad
not that bad. This also
yeah,
turns
you
on
get
these
to
2 for
sack
the
banner. Mm-hmm. What was the What was the other giant like green become huge card that was around this time, but also forced your opponent to block it?
Cat. Enlarge.
The one that had the cat on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it just
I think
enlarge?
it's just enlarge. Green 3 sorcery. It's like +7/+7.
Yeah.
Do they not block?
Enlarge. Yep.
Hold on, hold on, hold
+7/+7
on.
gains trample, must be blocked if able. I remember that card being quite good.
For 10,
In draft.
11, 12, 13. They're dead next turn.
Okay.
If they do the same. They're like, we can. They just took this.
That's such a weird decision when they have 3 lands and a full grip of 7 cards.
I thought for sure like Hateblade would trade for Hateblade, but that's.
I can't do that.
Holy shit. Oh my god, alright.
Oh my god, buddy. Okay, like I get it. You like to outlast. That's they're leaving Hateblade up, I guess, and they have another big boy.
They have just an Ancestor and Hateblade up, so that our attack next turn doesn't look as good as the idea. I'm gonna pop Abzan Banner because it might play in hand is the same for.
You're gonna just draw a land anyway, so it's gonna replace itself.
Well, it doesn't matter for Become Immense. Okay.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right. That's first off, that's a flyer.
I'm just playing that and passing with feet of resistance up.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Then they can die, like, next turn or something. I don't know. I can stop them from using kill spells is the big thing. Having feet is super good here. I can also always leave up feet as I pump my team. I don't care.
Funnily enough, there's actually very few kill spells that would work right now.
Kill shot.
Smite isn't attacking on it, I think. Kill shot requires tap, doesn't it?
Yeah, if I attack with it, they can.
Yeah.
Waiting for
they
a
don't have the
discard.
mana or they don't have the mana or the graveyard space for delve, so they can't do murderous cut.
They can have kill shot here.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We just sort of blanket.
You have a backup flyer now. You've got Kieran, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can actually afford to play a little cautious here without having any significant downside.
Yeah, like I could have pumped there, but I want to play backup flyer.
Mm-hmm. And now you still have the feed up. So if they wanted to play kill shot on your end step, then they wouldn't be able to actually pull it off.
I think kill shot might just be attacking, if I'm remembering the card right.
Might be.
Just by name. There's Sand Blast, but that's from the second set. That's not from this set.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Kill shot is attacking creature. Common 3 mana instant. Right. Smite actually doesn't require a tap, right? That's what it is.
Yeah. This isn't smiteable yet. They don't have 4 mana yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So the only thing that really does work is kill shot.
Waiting for discard.
Oh. That actually explains things. I empty the pits. Legitimately, the fact that they're playing Empty the Pits does explain a lot about their playstyle.
Yep. I want more flyers. So put a 1/1 on Kieran, which puts a 1/1 on High Sentinels.
And then here it is. Oh, they discarded down so they could murderous cut. Your opponent's a genius.
Incredible.
Your opponent's a genius in a way that it entirely does not work out, but they're a genius.
Pro black, please. There's a reason I never dropped shields.
Mm-hmm. All right, so they're down to 1. It's pretty good, I guess.
They're down to 2.
Sorry, 2.
And
1 and 2 is the same number. Everyone knows that.
I mean, we control Carry Bloodsucker, so.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't leave up black for Hate Blade. We're dead. Misplay. Misplay. Misplay streamer.
Stylish. I like your opponent.
Good.
Zunger, you're all right. If even if you do play incredibly slowly.
Good. Good.
And very cautious.
Good. Good. All right. All right. We need to play against the slowest opponent in the world. I already put in Soul Eye Scavenger because I figured more flyers were good here.
Yeah, I'm proven right there. Flyers are their bane. So
Smite.
Smite's not that bad of an idea, but
I keep cutting just
my big
next
problem
to-
with Smite the Monstrous, with specifically our opponent as Mr. Loves Outlasting so much, is that I think the only outlasting guy that becomes 4 power on Outlast is the Battle Priest.
Yeah.
So that mean if they were to keep themselves on more reasonable numbers, Smite probably won't have that many targets. We did see that they are willing to outlast to unreasonable heights, but
This is a match and a half. God.
this is probably your worst starting hand today. Pretty sure we totally did the trick of playing Ancestor into Kintry Invocation at least once in the many times
It has to
there
have.
was streamed triple cons.
I hate that I'm debating
Okay.
this. Because Kintry is
By all
really
means,
powerful.
this is yeah, but it has nothing
It has
to work off
nothing.
right now.
I know. I'm just scared that a mulligan's gonna look like 2 colors and ass.
I get like you're on the draw, so there's that.
Screw it. I'm gonna keep this terrible hand. We know what's gonna happen. Y'all know what's gonna happen. We can just live with it. It's fine.
All right.
Are you ready to draw a lot of lands running? Because I am.
I am trying to manifest as much of my power as possible at Archer's Parapet. All right? That is what I'm trying to I'm trying to just waft that energy into the air, and I'm desperately hoping you get it.
I'll take any of my 2s. Oh boy, yep. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my power isn't strong enough. I can't outperform Kavanaugh's deadly curse.
Yeah, I should have known the way the winds were going this stream that keeping this was deadly. My problem is that it's really like when I have a 3-color hand, like us like with something like Kintry, that if I draw any creature, I'm happy. Like this is just funny though. This is like a level beyond punished. This is like punished snake. We're just we're
Why
dead
are we
as
still
hell.
here? Just to suffer.
That's indeed.
When you see why we kept this hand, you will truly become ashamed of your words and deeds. It's even like, I mean, at least it gets to block the morph. And even then, some of the morphs I think actually will. No, never mind. They won't actually beat it, but still. The only one that ones that would. Can't think of any of them have first strike, actually. I don't think any of the morphs do. If that was a megamorph, you'd feel bad about it. God, why didn't they have Outlast and Megamorph in the same set? That would actually have made sense. Right? Like
Feed? War Behemoth. Okay.
Megaphar was Megamorph was absolutely a wet fart of a mechanic. It was
Megamorph sucked.
It was the least popular mechanic from Dragons of Tarkir, an already unpopular set by far. Basically it's just like The number one thing about Megamorph is that, okay, people like Morph, and the most popular mechanic from Fate Reforged was Manifest, which was actually like a really neat way of doing a side grade morph. Side grade to morph that made sense. And so when they move into doing Megamorph, um, it was just bad at that point because it was just morph but more expensive, and they just were slightly larger creatures at that point. It was nothing. Plenty of the cards with Megamorph were fine, and it played mostly fine because it was just Morph again, but slightly larger.
Don't mind me just figuring out how I don't die here.
So Dragon Scale Boon onto Jeskai Student in some form blocks anything that they would throw at you, but you die otherwise.
I think if I'm winning, I have to go to 1.
Okay. So you have to block the Saddle Brute with the student, and then take 5.
No, I think I have to block here.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because you need to remove the unknown from your from the situation, right?
Yeah. And then I'll have to like double block the Saddle Brute to kill it later. Okay, go to 1. It was Sage Eye Harriers I needed to kill because it's a flyer.
It's a 1/5 flyer, but it's a flyer nonetheless. They're
Death Frenzy, no!
playing Death
No!
Frenzy. Hey, it still saves your ass? Archer's Parapet, let's go. It still does it, because you can...
You can't cast it off the mana we have.
Damn.
Because the idea was everything survives, I play Kin Tree next turn. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that was me taking a bad mulligan. I can admit to that. Who cursed this deck so much?
When you draw not lands, it performs great, actually.
Yeah, the one game that's ever happened.
Yeah, it's like this deck is good, but you're just cursed today.
I'm unsure. Like, the thing is, both of our wins are only off of our High Sentinel, right?
Yeah. That is also fair, but I don't think it's
true. Like, I mean,
I don't think that's like actually. I think it's the only reason why that's the case is because High Sentinel is so good, it's able to outperform the curse.
Right. When you have 12 lands, High Sentinels activates 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we're gonna increase Mather.
Oh, Tassiger is here. Oh shit. Oh fuck.
Oh, Tassiger.
One of the funniest things about Tassiger as a card is Tassiger has text on it that is not Delve and is a 4/5, but the only thing that mattered about it was that it was Delve and a 4/5.
Yep.
And it was played widely for that reason. And then someone made the genius realization of, wait, hold the fucking phone. There's this common in the same set called Gurmag Angler, which is a Delve 5/5 instead. And it was like, Wait, why were we shelling out all this money for Tassica to replace Glyph when the Gurmag Angler's actually even better at it, and it's a common? I legitimately remember that there was like a collective realization about that was not like immediately realized because realistically what ended up happening is that people played Tassiger as a second copy of Gurmag, so like, you know, they'd play a lot of them. Like I want to say it was like a 4-2 split a lot of the time. It was it legitimately it actually took a little bit into the Fate Reforged you know, standard constructed scene for them people to actually recognize that fucking fish was better than Tassiger in the way that they were using it. They actually just got blinded by the fact that it was a rare. It's both a rare and a legendary, and the legendary actually could matter in some matchups.
Okay.
So. Oh, they played Treasure Cruise.
Yeah, they played Treasure Cruise on turn 4. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. They're playing Smoke Teller? Neat. That's a bear.
They must really want a bear. I actually don't remember that there are a lot of other bears in green. 2-mana 2/2s, not creature type bear. There's a lot of creature type bear in this. let me be.
Although, funnily, I think literally every creature type bear in this is a 4 power. So. So anyway, this actually is performing just fine. This is a good opener. The Secret Plans deck doesn't exist. It's not a real thing.
Anyway, here's a... Now, this is your last turn to be able to kill High Sentinels. Because I'm going to be leaving up feet for the rest of the game. But yeah, I can't say bear as easily in this format, meaning 2-mana 2/2, because there's like Alpine Grizzly and...
There's a 3-mana 4/2.
Yeah.
I think that there's like a...
There's a Bear's Companion. The one that makes a 4/4 token. Surak punches some bears sometimes. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that morph's probably a 5/5, right? Ooh!
Goblin Slide!
Whoa, Nelly. Give me a plains.
Goblin Slide. Goblins lied.
What the fuck?
This is the weirdest possible block. What are you doing? Do you have your own? No, it's like
I'm taking...
This doesn't make any sense.
I'm not spending a dime on this. You take 7. Not even... nothing. I won't spend a quarter on that.
You can have Jeskai Student in exchange for taking 7.
Yeah, you're on
fine.
6. I'm holding Feet of Resistance. This fight's over.
End step, if they don't do anything to cause you to spend the feat, you actually just get to put a counter on your Abzan guide, and then kill your opponent basically next turn because you can. Because yeah, next turn you'd be able to put a counter.
Cheering
on
Instigator
itself.
to steal my dude, huh? No thanks. I'm good.
Now, I want to say with Khans of Tarkir, the only clan mechanic that was not super well received was Outlast. And even then, it was mostly just that Outlast wasn't that interesting. It's not that it didn't play well, you know?
It's that Outlast doesn't do anything constructed wise.
Outside, in constructed. It doesn't do anything outside of Cons Limited, basically.
Yeah. It's a good limited mechanic. Yeah, Morph set with protection tricks is neat because, Morph is... Okay.
Why X equals... Oh, because they didn't... Wait, yeah, they wanted to get the Goblin.
They want a Goblin.
Sense. I just feel like it doesn't make that much sense to do X equals 1 because you're just gonna attack anyway, right? Like,
yeah,
it's a 5/5 lifelinker. They'd have to triple block it to kill it.
That doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh, right, because you could still activate and give it another counter. Right, duh. I didn't even think about that.
The only reason I haven't done that is because I want to put it on Jeskai Student instead to put more counters on my...
Yeah.
6 cards in hand from our opponent. I'm scared of that, but, like, they need to kill this. Right? Like, if they can't kill High Sentinels, like...
Stinging Bell Strike, let's go.
Let's go.
It doesn't work. You still have over 6 mana.
This rules.
Singing Bell Strike, for what it's worth, actually a perfectly playable card.
Yeah.
It's just has a specific time where it stops working, which is common on blue narcolepsies.
Yeah. Well, narcolepsy itself tends to work.
Well, yeah, narcolepsy itself, but I mean the archetype of card that this is.
Yeah. All right.
It's the one that comes to mind when I think of the blue enchantment tap. Probably because it's one of the better ones that doesn't let you do that. It also costs 3 though, if I remember right, whereas this specifically costs 2, which is surprisingly useful.
Yeah, here comes some sort of counter spell, right? There's no way Einak Bondkin gets to live. What the
okay, Trap Essence. Fuck? This is the... I remember this card. This card you never see. It is the Teamer counterspell rare.
Yeah, okay.
That puts the two counters on something. No one ever sees that card.
You got it, boss. I will pass turn.
I really like Trap Essence purely for being a counterspell with more than just blue on it. It's actually really rare, and if they ever do it, it's usually got like... It's either white or occasionally green.
The reason I thought it was weird there is that they only had single blue up too. It's rare to have a counterspell that works on single blue that's like, obviously all counter. This is counter target creature, which is why it is single blue.
Yes.
At least because it doesn't.
The like, flavor on it wants to be, eat that thing, put it into the other thing.
So Death Frenzy against the Goblins.
Want a blue card in Ikoria? It might make sense for Ikoria.
There is a counterspell that they've printed a couple times now. It was in it was in Ravnica. That's like blue counter target creature spell. Put a counter on a creature. It's blue for 1 counter rather than 2.
Right.
That exists. Essence Scatter is just counter target creature spell. It's remove soul with another name because remove soul on soulless on like one.
On soulless one or on like the artifact creature, a construct. Yeah. They're literal robots, like it makes sense that they don't print specific card names like that outside of like specific formats.
One scavenger, because we've shown that flyers just win a lot. Bone to ash. That's like counter target creature spell draw. Walk the plank on Emmercruel. Emmercruel, I think both can protect against that. We still haven't drawn our
Your ascendancy?
Yeah, we haven't drawn ascendancy. Hey! Alright. Finally. A mulligan. This is just a mulligan. Get out of here.
This is also a mulligan. This is also... I mean, probably should be. Like, you have all colors, but only one land. It would be very, very, very tenuous to keep this.
I'm gonna try it.
All
put
right.
back a guide, put back cut, I think.
Sure. Jeskai Student, if you manage to draw lands running, Jeskai Student into Kintry Invocation, really good play sequence, actually.
Problem is drawing a... Sure. We need to draw lands in the right... Yeah, I was going to say we can't draw planes. So this is fine. And they get to ramp. Okay. Cool.
All right.
I don't think I could ask for much more out of a hand like this. Are they going to ramp? I assume we're ramping for red.
Bottom of the Spring is neat.
Yeah, it's a neat one. Okay. I'm not going to bother trying to play cute here. Let's just get a 4/4 and call it good. I want to be able to protect the 4/4 with feet rather than use the feet to make a 5/5. Is the thought process.
Yeah. Also, the feet would make it a 5/5 regardless. It puts a counter on it.
Okay, this is actually fine. Because we can...
Because protection forces it to fall off, right?
Yeah, we can just end step feet, untap it, make it a 5/5. That's what I'm... Yeah, that's the kind of line I wanted anyway. Okay. That'll be a cool end step.
As far as Mulsify goes, with only one land in land, this is actually turning out okay.
I think it was fine because we were on the draw. We get 2 chances at the land draw, and that means I'm fine with that. That's a 50-50 shot twice, and I'm fine taking that shot every single time. But it's only if the hand turns on one land, which this one did.
Yeah.
I want to be careful about casting High Sentinels into this mana. I don't want to have my biggest threat countered by +2/+2.
Yeah, you probably... I mean, you don't have the 4 mana yet anyway, but you'd probably do like Morph and Hateblade first.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Actually really
That's
good.
not bad. Yeah.
Because I can play that and Hateblade post-combat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what's up.
You could also play... I guess it doesn't matter, because you could play the banner pre-combat to trigger prowess.
This isn't coming in against an 03. Okay. Tap target creature, doesn't untap. Draw a card. Neat.
They are full Goblin slide deck.
Yes.
I really respect them for that. That's a lot of fun.
That was the realization I had at the end of the last game, was like, wait a minute, this is like, they're actually like very much on this. I wish I had drawn an actual land here so I could actually just play High Sentinels into this, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Our mana is extremely good right now.
leaning fully in on Goblin Slide is fun. It's a fun card, even if it's not like super strong.
Yeah, and I mean, free. If you have a bunch of cantrips like Crippling Chill, or just, your removal lands you a 1/1, that's pretty nifty. Jeskai Student does a pretty good job of stuffing it at the mo, but. Alright, I want them tapped out. Sweet.
Perfect. That's
tapped out. High Sentinels can come
yeah,
down
there's
and
no
do the
blue
job.
counter.
We're not getting force spiked. I'm really interested in this opponent. I really like this. All right, so we're just...
I couldn't possibly rank goblins in any way. I'm sorry, it's impossible. There's too many.
There are a million goblins. Cool
All
thing.
goblins are good. That's my saying.
It's a cool thing about High Sentinels here. It already has a 1/1 counter effective. I want to get it a little bit bigger so it's outside of like burn range. Sure, that's fine. Sooner or later, we will draw out of that. So that doesn't worry me too much. This also has the activated ability still, so.
5/5 with first strike.
Talking about best possibles, we're on a lot of best possibles running.
You could attack with that, and no matter what, it would still survive. And then you could do Skull Hunter following that up.
Yeah, they'll get a land out of their hand, but that's at least something rather than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, because they have one more from Seek the Horizon, I think.
Yeah, they've played 2 of the 3. Also, cool thing we have now is that I can just power 1/1 counters anywhere.
Yep. You have better Outlast at instant speed and can be placed on anything.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so let's get a land out of their hand. I'm really happy with our board state because right now we are on every draw is live no matter what. With Singing Bellstrike, even lands are live because they get us to High Sentinels on tap. Things like that.
Yep.
The Abzan Guide is very powerful to have, and then like any draw we have is just good. I want to draw
Abzan Guide with the High Sentinels and your first strike Bondkin as well is also like ludicrous.
Yep.
5/5 lifelink first strike. Oof.
And then I'm just going to be end step moving counters onto things. Nice draw. I love drawing best possible after best possible running. That's pretty good. So each plane goblin. One thing I want to draw if I draw lands is we actually want to draw our fetch. Because right now the bottom 2 cards of our deck are Abzan Guide, Murderous Cut.
Both of which are really good. Yeah, you're right.
I would love to improve I think this is probably where Embodiment gets thrown down. No? I'm never sure you just...
I mean, there's very few cards that could pull that off. Like, with their, like, power and toughness on the board, they had 4 and the morph. They would have needed to have something with 6 toughness and, like, a bit of power just to be able to survive and then hit.
Why didn't you block with that? Whatever. They should have blocked with that, and then I guess no, they want to leave up the counter spell. Never mind. Their hand that feels like a confirmation their hand has the counter spell,
right?
Because they specifically made the choice to sack a goblin to not drop the counter spell mana. So 2 morphs. One of the things we have against the morph is Hateblade is really good. Sure reach. Anyway, counter on Hate Blade.
Sure. All right, here's a first striking Death Toucher. Good luck. Oh,
Okay.
you need to do some like work ahead of time, but you could make almost your entire board resistant to that.
This informs my next few counters. I'm fine sacking Skull Hunter. I think Einok
But
needs to be
you want the
above it.
Bondkin, and it only needs one more, so you might as well do the Hate Blade as well.
I'm still
The
going
student doesn't need any help, but
still going in with our friend, the 5/5, because I don't. Even if these are 5/5 flips ups, they would have to sack too much, and Abzan Charm could get them. If they don't have enough mana to put up a Woolly Loxodon, which is the biggest morph they can have. One of the problems is that Death Frenzy is going to be not too useful in a couple turns, but we still want to. It does answer the Goblin Slide stuff, so I still want to play with it in mind. One of the cool things we have is that if I do need to Hate Blade in a turn, I can Abzan Charm on that turn as well.
Oh, Hooded Hydra. You want to Abzan Charm basically now? Because it exiles. They won't get the die trigger. Also, if you do that, I mean, you'd be able to actually swing out with quite a lot.
Yes. Let's see if they have a response. If we do have to kill it.
Disdainful Stroke?
Oh!
Spell Snatcher.
Okay. One of the things I was thinking is that I wanted to kill that end step, but because Morph is not in.
Wait, hold on. Is this 2 mythics?
This is a rare. It's not a mythic.
Okay.
This one's a mythic. One of the things I was thinking is that I wanted to kill this at end step, but because of the way Morph worked, I actually full passed. Because it's not. It didn't give me priority back. Because
Morph is an anytime action. Yeah. You can do it literally whenever.
Well, it's not an action, it's a special action, and that's different.
Yeah.
Alright, this is a little dangerous now.
They're tapped out. You could morph down the Abzan guide and it wouldn't get countered at this point.
Yeah, that's probably my line.
Also, I was wrong. There is that archer that also gets 4 power, it turns out, on 1 Outlast.
My life total's high enough that I'm not worried about like an all-out next turn.
Yeah.
So I'm dropping Mardu Hateblade, shields.
Alright, so
Like an end step, kill my Spirit Warrior.
They could kill your High Sentinels. It has 6
if they want to, they can kill High Sentinels. That's not sure that's correct, but it will kill them as the game goes on. They might be thinking they're safe because they have like reach here.
Yeah.
They're gonna wait as long as possible to use the Carry spell. You know, they're gonna leave that up for as long as they can. Okay.
I guess Hateblade could actually be coming in. The snakes wouldn't be as big of a deal as the 5/5. And you have profitable blocks in response anyway. So
I'm probably just gonna swing in with this 5/5 and see what's up.
Sure.
I want them to burn the charm. I want that off the table. I don't want. Okay,
Yeah, okay, there it is.
cool. Exile. Neat. All right. So I think from here, we're just going to slowly prep the team.
So, like, put a counter on your Abzan guide, flip it up next turn, have a 5/5 first strike lifelinker.
Yeah. Or like putting a one on Hateblade to keep it outside of range. Death
Oh, Death
Frenzy.
Frenzy.
Because
Yeah.
like I want a Death Frenzy when the Hooded Hydra flips out.
Yes.
So. Alright. Aerostorm. Okay.
Killing Bondkin.
That
Wait,
drops
hold on. It only does 5 damage on raid, right?
It does 4 damage now, but we're at 4/3. We don't have enough to pump it out.
Okay.
That is a bit of a pain.
Okay, it deals 4 on its face. Okay, fair.
Yeah. I still feel like they can't attack here. Okay. Probably not doing that yet. Like we're just passing. That can be like a post for 1 mana. They need something to break this stalemate. Okay. Of cards that break stalemates, that's a good one. Hmm. Their card quality is not like we've seen a couple rares out of them, but a lot of their creatures are just sort of like, smoke teller, right? So I don't know what I'm super afraid of. God, I want Hooded Hydra to die. So you morph up their morph end step. Ooh. It's Caesar's dad. I've forgotten
Oh,
about this
yeah.
card.
Oh, I didn't think about it, but Mystic of the Hidden Way is actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the highest can't be blocked power totals. Like, not in the game total, but in like at common and limited. This is 3/2 unblockable. That's actually like really unblockable, really high power for 1 at that
Mm-hmm.
point. It's still a 3/2, which means it dies to Death Frenzy, but
Getting this out of Death Frenzy range. So now our board is
mm.
effectively immune.
Oh, they have a response. Swift kick.
They're finally killing my Sentinel. That's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Death Frenzy. Sultai Scavenger, go. Don't really have too much else.
Yeah, fair. Getting that fetch so you can get your
My best cards back.
cut back in your in your deck would be pretty good.
Alright, so this gets rid of the unblockable threat.
Yeah. It also gains you a ton of life.
There's like 7. I go up to 26 here.
I think it's just 6, but still, it's still good. Oh wait, no. It is 7 because the Skull Hunter.
The Skull Hunter goes. I'm happy we get the morph. I don't know what it is, but I'm happy we get it. It was the threaten.
Yeah, we did know they had that, so makes sense.
So they have reach. This isn't as good as it looks. But if we can kill long shot squad, then we're actually able to just start killing them. I don't think they ever attack.
You have Throttle still, I think, in your deck.
This is like a...
You can catch it in combat, is what I mean, though. Like,
if I can catch it in combat, Hateblade does that. So, all right, let's go ahead and draw our card here.
Big problem right now is that Hateblade gets blocked by the Kiru instead. That's pretty good. That's actually quite good.
That's quite strong. Okay.
Talking about catching something in combat.
Oof. Might be able to use Hateblade and have it live, or shit, Icy Blast for all. I just thought, like, I was trying to think how we lose this game, and yeah.
And this is 2 turns, right?
Yeah, they have a 4-power creature, so it's 2 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so their deck actually has a lot of game going late. Yep.
This was a heroic mold of 5. I'll say that.
I think this one was lost specifically on me not killing this in the right timing, which was a bit of an annoyance to me. Like, because I let them get the Kiru Spell Snatcher on the Charm, we lost all of our forward momentum.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm pretty sure that's where the game was lost. And then they're going to counterspell this, yeah. This has been in their hand for like 12 turns. It's funny, they haven't had a chance to cast it.
Generally, you've been playing creatures on turns where they've tapped out, so... Yep.
All right. The throttle is over here. Let's take a think. Anything else that sounds good against this opponent? Smite, actually.
Smite's pretty good, yeah.
Gets there. Death Frenzy is still good.
Death Frenzy are still good. The Hate Blades are still good. Like, that one Hate Blade actually kept them at bay for most of the game, so...
the students are the only one I'm, like, a little meh on.
Yeah, the students have problems in this matchup by being too small, while also being too weak to really... Like, they're too small on both power and toughness reliably to really match anything that they're playing.
I don't like cutting this many creatures, but I think this is what we want. Oh, this is... No, I might have wanted that. Okay, let's keep.
This has got all colors. It has Abzan guide and murderous cut.
Yep. Naturalize. That I should have brought in naturalize.
Oh, naturalize would have. Yeah, good point.
I don't. Yeah, I actually don't care about naturalize for the goblin side. I care about it for the swinging bell strikes.
Mm.
That's a good thought. Comparable. The problem is I don't have that many cards I want out here. We'll see. All right.
Something like the goblin slide specifically is that it really does feel like they only have the one of them.
Yeah.
So they're not that dangerous with it.
If they had two, that would build pressure a lot more. But like they also don't have a lot of things to do with the token. It feels like. All right, double red.
Ooh, maybe they end up being very off color. Playing 2 mountains in a row. That
Yeah,
means
maybe
that
they just have morphs.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, they're on the discard, huh?
Oh wow! Did they keep like? Oh, you know what? Their hand actually probably kicks ass if they had just drawn blue. They likely have 2 of those in their hand, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but they still need green for that too.
Oh yeah, fair. Good point. Hmm.
I think this is just going to be game. We're just going to attack with some 4/4s for a couple turns. That only grabs Delve. Okay, I was like, why are you playing that, Treasure Cruise? You're playing that for Treasure Cruise. Makes sense. Goblin slide, goblin slide. Goblin slide!
Had that goblin slide all 3 games.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this is my gameplay
Here
for the
comes
next
the
couple
crushing.
turns. You're gonna like singing bell strike 1 and I have 6 mana and I don't really care. I have all the lands in the world, so this isn't really a problem. Okay.
I am amazed they attacked with that.
Same.
Maybe they just flat out didn't think you'd have a second one of these and they thought it'd be something else. They didn't see it in the entire last other game that you had 2 because you put it on the bottom of your deck. So.
Well, now I can just untap the first one with, you know, thing, and I have cut, and like we're very pressuring them, and our life total is 1 million. So
Love the idea of murderous cutting a goblin token.
it's possible. I get to play Onyx Bondkin in the turn too. Cheer a blocker. Card has no text. They don't have green. Goblins lied. You need to trump.
If they hadn't, then you'd just become immense and win. So. Leave up murderous cut for
Yeah, we're leaving up Murderous Cut and Become Immense. I will become immense if they go for an Arrow Storm.
Yeah.
Just to save my creature. It's valuable enough for that. Obviously, I just want to end step on tap Singing Bells. I'll strike and get him with both. But we'll see what happens. Cool thing is I can play Bondkin and untap. Bell Strike has done its job, but okay, this might give them to like waste an Icy Blast.
Although, funnily enough, if they did that, Singing Bell Strike would have the downside of letting you untap one of them.
True.
disdainful stroke.
Do you have it? Guts.
All right, well, it didn't go as well as it could have, but
as is tradition, the first pick was never drawn.
Correct.
Like,
it's a good first pick.
1 million games. Yeah, 9 games.
Played as long as was possible to play.
No dice. I like that last opponent. And I liked all of our matches. Obviously, we had our super fun time land festival in rounds 1 and 2, but that's Magic. Like, you can't avoid that.
That is just Magic. Yep.
Like, that's something
just happens sometimes.
That's something, like, I've talked about this a lot. I've been able to, like, super internalize, like, losses to that. Who cares? You know, just like that's Magic the Gathering. What was pick one? Abzan Ascendancy.
It's the thing that told us to play Abzan, and then of course we did open up a bunch of really good white cards. So it was correct to lean in. But...
yeah, we never drew it. You know, obviously would have been powerful. Makes flyers, pumps your team. We ended up picking a lot of white in pack 1 because of it, and then we got the rest of the colors in packs 2 and 3. But yeah, it's I really like this format because it allows for different decks. It allows for our opponent doing Goblin Slide.
Yeah, worth noting that Goblin Slide as well also works in multiple different color trios. So.
Right. Suspect there was a pretty sick Mardu deck in that draft. I agree. I also think there was a pretty sick Jeskai.
It might have actually been a pretty sick Jeskai. Yeah,
I think Jeskai, because like, so there were 2. So say in pick 1 pack 1, instead of picking Abzan Ascendancy, we picked the keeper that recurs instant or sorcery, or a non-creature, non-land. I think I don't know. It's a spell. If we pick that pick 1, we end up with 2 of those, a flying crane technique, and like a bunch of prowess dudes late. Like, and
a bunch of prowess dudes late.
And blue was pretty open in pack 1. We could have had like Jeskai Wind Scout or a River.
You could have had Delve Through Time.
So I think Jeskai is the one, and that Jeskai would have been red as the splash, but red would have been a good splash there. So, but yeah, I'm like, it's really interesting that like we did have a number of different like paths on that river of the draft. I think of the draft as the river you just kind of have to follow. And all of them would have ended up pretty well, I think.
I don't think that our deck ended up bad, for instance. No. Like, this Abzan deck is perfectly fine. That's the thing.
We took losses to drawing 13 lands. How can we... I can't even evaluate the deck, right? Like,
yeah.
How am I supposed to evaluate rounds 1 and 2? Like, you played 17 lands and drew 12 of them. Good. Don't do that.
Probably should have drew, I would say, maybe 1 land every other draw at most.
I think that is what the...
that would have been pretty good.
I think that's what they call a skill issue.
Yeah.
Clearly, I should have played differently around drawing 12 lands. In the format without mana sinks. There aren't mana sinks really in this format, too.
Yeah. Khans of Tarkir is a format near and dear to my heart as one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah, I would simply draw the cards I want. That's a good... Yeah, damn. I know. Like, I agree. That's a good plan. Yeah. We have one of the few mana sinks. High Sentinels is obviously like super good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of this format. We're probably going to come back to it on Tuesday. It'll still be around, so we'll maybe, hopefully we'll get to see a different direction on it, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll do something different. One of my plans I actually had for a future stream I was thinking about is that will be 7 other people on Tuesday. Good question. One of the things I've been thinking about as a stream is that I need to... My cube is like... At this point, I haven't touched it in updating it since like MagFest 2020.
So it's like 2 years old.
And even then, like, I hadn't than making major adjustments for like the last 2 years. It's like 4 years old untouched. So I think it needs
Yeah,
a full overhaul. But the first part of that is like just kind of taking it and putting it into. Actually, did Cube Tutor die? I don't remember. There's a Cube Cobra. I don't know. There's a couple sites. So I was thinking about doing a stream of putting that in and then talking about like different changes to make and talking about like possible updates, because there's like 4 years of cards and like a lot of different like new archetypes or old archetypes that I could switch things out.
Yeah, Cube Cobra exists,
Okay.
still exists. Cube Tutor is dead.
That's the one. That's what I thought. I was like, one of these died and one of them showed up as the replacement. So at some point in the future, I want to do a stream that it'll be a kind of a chill one, but it'll just be kind of going through the cube I have together and putting it in and talking about the design decisions on it and changing out cards. So, for instance,
What it's worth, I've also been thinking quite a lot about how to organize an 8-person draft on Discord before. And I have some good ideas about how to do that, and even like showing it up, like showing off some games on stream if you want to do that sometime.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cube Cobra has human drafting now. Okay, that's quite rad. So I could put the cube on there and then we could actually get together.
Yeah.
Like a possible draft on that. Okay, that's I think right now the thing is my cube is, like I said, it's outdated in the sense that I haven't updated it in quite a long time, and it has a couple small issues that I wanted to change up on what was powerful and what wasn't still. Give it a bit more of a like cohesive design, because for a while I've just been kind of upgrading it as like cards come out and it's like, here's a strict upgrade on this, and so yeah. Anyway, that's a plan for another future day. That'll probably be like on some Tuesday where there isn't a set I want to draft. Yeah, but who knows when that'll be. So anyway, that's gonna be it for tonight. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Doc, for jumping on in. I appreciate it.
No worries.
You got anything upcoming?
I actually do have a marathon on the 9th, but that's going to be a low, not low energy because it's 18 hours long. If I was low energy, I would go to sleep.
It's going to be an 18-hour stream of just a camera on Doc sleeping.
That's actually not legal on Twitch's terms of service, I'm pretty sure.
That's true.
It's just going to be a, no stakes one is what I mean.
Like a 1 day long.
Just a 1 day long, just going to go ahead and have a good time. I'm probably going to do Dragon's Dogma because someone made a Bitter Black Isle randomizer, and I'm going to check that out.
All right. But yeah, things I got going on here. Sunday, again, Mega Man Battle Network is now weekly rather than bi-weekly, so it is going on Sunday. So that's the most upcoming one. And then next Tuesday will be more cons.
Oh yeah.
Followed by Netrunner games on Wednesday, as me and Dakota have finally done some deck building for the new set release that the Nisei group put out. So, love to play a game that's been technically dead for 4 years and still has support. So, anyway, thank you all for joining. Have a good night, everybody.